Downtown News at 10 o'clock, this is David Stokes. 4 of the IRA gunmen who died in last night's shootout with SAS troops at Loughgall RUC station came from Galbally village in County Tyrone. Another is thought to have lived in the Moy and 2 others are believed to have come from Dungannon and Benburb. But so far police are not revealing their names. Another victim was a former Sinn Fein councillor from the Republic who was thought to have been the IRA's top gunman along the border. The gunfight erupted after the IRA gang had blown up the police station. A passing motorist was killed in crossfire. This morning, a big security operation is underway. Secretary of State Tom King is expected to make a statement later today on the shooting. This report from Mervyn Jess.
The IRA began their attack on Loughgall RUC station around 7:20 yesterday evening. A JCB tractor with a bomb on board was driven into the security fencing. It exploded, partially demolishing the base. Seconds later, a van drove up and a number of IRA men climbed out and began firing at the station. But the SAS were lying in wait, and this was the signal to spring their trap. The Special Air Service men blasted the IRA gang positions around the RUC base. Some of the provisionals hadn't even time to get out of the van. They were shot dead where they sat as the gun battle raged on. When the shooting ceased, 9 men lay dead on the road. Another was taken to hospital with bullet wounds, along with 2 policemen and a soldier. One policeman at the scene said that after 20 years in the force, he had never seen anything like it. The SAS trap was so well laid, the security forces must have been acting on very accurate intelligence. The Loughgall ambush is the worst single loss of life ever suffered by the IRA, and it will be viewed as first blood in the government's new Get Tough policy to combat the Provisionals' renewed terror campaign.
Sinn Féin's Gerry claims the men were murdered. He says they'd given their lives for the nationalist people.
Young men felt forced to take desperate action. Young men armed with weapons which were very mediocre compared to those of their opponents, driven to the measures of using the JCB against a heavily fortified base and against a much superior enemy.
There is the biblical quotation, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, live by the sword, die by the sword. Isn't that essentially what has happened now?
Well, I mean, I would believe that the IRA volunteers would have understood the risks that they were taking.
But local clergyman Canon Chris Lowry says the men of violence have reaped a grim reward.
They came to kill and to destroy the place. So they must have come knowing that there was the possibility of getting shot. And in that sense, they deserved it. On the other hand, I think it's a desperate waste of life. Now, I have no sympathy with the terrorists, whatever, but it's a desperate waste of life for some godfathers to send those men into a situation where there was nothing for them but death.
Last night too there was serious rioting in west and north of Belfast. 200 petrol bombs were thrown at security forces who replied with plastic bullets. Trouble started at around 11 o'clock and continued until 5 o'clock this morning when police and troops came under fire. Gunmen opened up on police at Ballyclare Street in the Old Park area and later they were shot at in Broadway. Fire was returned but no hits were claimed. There was rioting too in Coal Island where gangs of youths set fire to a barricade. 3 cars and a small coach were also hijacked and police were stoned. Downtown News is coming up to 4 minutes past 10.